Welcome to the MediaPipe TouchDesigner tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will learn how to translate physical hand gestural metrics into precise geometric rotations using the tracker, based on Julia V0's project file, which you can find in her Patreon page. We will utilize math and limit chop logic to process our input data while applying absolute spatial grouping to isolate specific vertices. This specific data flow synchronizes our entire layout to function like an orbit gallery. Perfect, let's look at the network structure. Chapter 1. Overview. First, the MediaPipe uses chops to process raw hand tracking data from the tracker into smooth, usable values. Next, the main pop section, we have a logic to create the geometry to hold textures, some UI details, and text labels. Then, the render section handles 3D instancing, using DATs and replicators to dynamically map textures. Finally, we composite the render with our MediaPipe feed. Which reminds me, if you are looking for getting feedback on your networks or finding beginner courses, you should consider joining over 400 students in my school community in the description. All right, let's jump into the tutorial. Chapter 2, Network. First, let me talk to you about the creator of this project, Julia V0. She is a digital artist based in Rome, Italy, recognized for creating generative and interactive pieces using TouchDesigner. Her portfolio explores everything from 3D simulations to experimental aesthetics. Currently, she is integrating the Tracker, a hand and face tracking web app I have developed, into her projects, taking the interactivity of her artwork to a new level. I have the Tracker running in my browser. To check the connection, you can go to the Connect tab and click the WebSocket option. This will show you the host name and the port. This is the connection to TouchDesigner. You can see the port number should be the same. Also in the bottom bar, you can check the green WebSocket icon is on. Then in the Source tab, you can choose your video input from a file, screen capture, or your webcam. Now, once you have the hands tracker active, you can explore the presets or create new ones. Here you have both hands data and all the active outputs, where you can make your own custom selection of controllers, one by one or by groups. You can also choose the color. Let's review the motion controls. For the right hand rotation controls, we will use the right index tip and the pointing up gesture. These two chops are working together with a hold chop. So when the pointing up gesture is active, it grabs the value, a limit to round the values, and a math to transform the values into degrees, another limit to clamp the values, and finally a lag to smooth the output. Now for the left hand, we need the metrics pinch distance left. This is going through a math chop. These values will change depending on your setup, so you will have to adjust them to your needs. This goes to a limit chop to clamp the values and then a lag chop. We will also use another input for pinch distance, with its math to normalize the values and a limit and a lag. And hey, if you find this network interesting but maybe do not want to build it all from scratch, you can just grab the finished project file on Julia V0 Patreon. And if you want to get access to all my project files, custom TouchDesigner plugins, and some free VJ packs, you can visit my Patreon. If you prefer to just jump straight in and experiment, the links are in the description. So, moving forward to our geometry vector points, create a circle pop. Modify the connectivity to point primitives, set orientation to Z-X plane, and set the uniform scale parameter to 0.02. Then change texture coordinates to none. Connect to transform pop. Then set up rotation in the Y-axis to reference our right-hand rotation lag chop. Adjust uniform scale to 0.59. And go into the Align tab and change Align Translate Y to Origin. In the From Input list, choose Min, and then set up Align Translate Z to Origin. Duplicate the transform pop and remove the reference value in the rotation. Now add a pop to DAT. Then point it to the second transform pop and name it Global Instances. We will use this data to drive the 3D instances later. Now drop a rectangle pop and scale it down to 0.02. And then set texture fit to fit best. Connect it to a transform pop. And then set align translate X, Y, and Z to origin. And set from input X and Y to min and Z to max. Next, feed this directly into another transform pop. And just set the X position to -0.02. Bring in a select pop and grab the main transform pop. Wire it to a group pop and change debug color to on. Go to the attribute page and set the first attribute to P2 and the function to greater than. We need to define a range, so set a value of 0.011. Add a new attribute and set it to P0. Set the function to less than, and the value to -0.003. Then change the combine operation to AND. We use the group pop with point position logic to isolate specific vertices in the circle, which lets us modify only the front half of the dial interface. The AND operation is used to force both spatial conditions act at the same time. Add an attribute pop, and start by creating a variable named point scale. Then set the value to 0.8 into the red input. Add a math pop, and now choose the group pop. Then set the input attribute scope to point scale. For the multiply value, we need to use the scale up pinch distance chop. Let's grab the lag value. Now set map to low to 0.226. And for the output attribute scope, select point scale as well. Now add a transform for a final adjustment. In the mode list, choose transform attribute. Now let's use the group pop from the chain. And for the translate Y value, let's use the lag from the slide up control section. Finally, set the scale in Y to 0.9. Let's add another layer to the interface. Create a line pop, and for Y, set it to 0.15. For the second point position, set X and Z to 0 as well. And for Y, set it to 0.7. Drop down a select pop and grab the main transform pop. Combine these lines inside a copy pop. Then continue by activating the template rotate to vector. And then set forward direction to positive Y. For the rotate to vector attribute, choose P. Now in the template attributes page, set it to active. And for the names parameter, select color. Now for another UI element, let's duplicate the line pop and change the values for the second point in Y to 1. Now duplicate the copy pop to get the same setup. Just deactivate the template point attributes. Now connect the line to the first input. For the second input, we need a select pop. Now point the second main transform to it. We need only one point from this circle, so add a delete pop. Set the operation to keep selected. Go to the attribute page and set P2 greater than, and a value of 0.011. Add a new attribute and set it to P0 and set the value to -0.002. We also need the combined parameter set to AND. Then plug it into the second input of the copy pop. Drop down a text pop. Inside the text field, we will use this script right here. The F at the beginning tells Python that this is a formatted string. F-strings allow you to inject code or variables directly into the text. The script extracts the current value of the X channel from the limit chop, removes any decimals to ensure it is a whole number, and appends the degree symbol at the end to generate the final string. Now just set the font size to 0.031. Drop a rectangle pop, and set the orientation to Z, X, plane. Change the size to 0.7 by 0.1. We also need to move the translate values in X to 1.34 and the rotation in Y to -90. Then finish by setting unformed scale at 0.77. Pass the box through a transform pop. And then modify the align page in Z, choosing origin and min. Now, add a texture map pop and activate transform input texture coordinates. Also change the scale to 0.8. Duplicate the transform and the texture map for a second layer. Go to the transform pop and change the align input from min to max. And inside the texture map, set the scale to 1. Perfect. We have the pop section ready to render. Let's add a select pop to grab the first layer. Add a geometry comp. And modify translate Y to -0.45. Then the rotate X to 19 degrees. And finally set the scale to 30. Inside the instance page, set it to active. Now for the default instance operator, use the second transform we have in this section. Now set translate X, Y, and Z to P0, P1, and P2 respectively. Now sync the scale parameters to the point scale attribute we generated earlier. Now go to the instance 2 page and set the rotate to vector to -X and point rotate to vector X to P0 and vector Z to P2. Now for the texture index OP, we will use the global underscore instances DAT. Next in texture, index type index. Now we need to create the texture container. To do that, let's create a base comp and dive inside. First, we need a folder DAT to load the texture images. I have this folder I created. You can use any textures you have. Since we are using square planes, it's better if you use square images like 1024 by 1024. Now add a select DAT and input the folder. Then for select rows, choose by index. And in start row, index type 1. Then for the select calls, choose by index as well. And in the start call, index type 1. This node is taking the complete list of files generated by the folder DAT and trimming the header and the short names column to provide a clean table containing exclusively the full paths of the files, ready to be read by this movie file. We will name text 0. Add this script to the file path. This code is calling the select table and load whatever is in the first row. Then the me.digits will work for the instances. Now we will use the replicator comp to create instances for all the images in the folder. In the template DAT table, add the select DAT. Then deactivate ignore first row. For the operator prefix, we will use text, so it calls the top's name. Inside master operator, we will add the movie file in holding the script. Now the instances are ready. By the way, if you are enjoying this and want to dive a bit deeper into TouchDesigner, you are always welcome to join my school community. We have over 400 students learning together right now. It is a great place to find beginner courses, get feedback on your project files, and just network with other creators. If that sounds helpful to you, I will leave the link down in the description. Let's go back to the GeoComp to finish the Instance 2 inputs. Go to the instance textures and type base1/text star. This is calling all the textures inside the base 1. Finally, add a constant material and add it to the geo. Add a camera and a render top to view the geometry. Set the render top's background color to white and the resolution to 800 by 1280. Also choose 32-bit float pixel format. Create another select pop for targeting the circular copy pop for the black lines. Apply a geometry comp and change the Y position to -0.45 and rotate X to 19. Then adjust the uniform scale value to 2.2. Drop down a line matte, adjusting near and far widths to 1.3. Then set line near color to black. Now add it to the geocomp. Duplicate the select pop and the geometry comp with its material. And change the select input to the next copy pop. Change the width near to 3.1 and far to 2.8. Finally, set the color to red. Duplicate the select and the geocomp. And change the select input to the text pop holding the degrees number. To position this correctly, change the translate values to -0.16, -0.429, and 2.556. Then set the rotation values to 12 and 90 for Y and Z. For the color, add a constant matte and change the color to black. Now for the next layer, let's duplicate the first geometry logic. Set the select to the first texture map pop. Now we need to change some values in the geometry comp. First, set the uniform scale to 1, then change the default instance OP to the main transform. We don't need scale data here, so delete it from all inputs. Set the rotate to vector to +X. Now set the rotate to vector Y to P1. Set the texture index to base 2 for our second texture layer I will show you next. Add a constant white material. And turn blending transparency on. Then write depth values to off. Now for the second texture instances, I'm using the same logic as before, but applied to a text top, using only me.digits, and a table dat with some flower names and data. For the last layer, let's duplicate the geometry, the select, and the base comp textures. I have my copy for the textures here. Now input the select top to the second texture map. Make sure the constant material is assigned to it. Finally, change the instance textures data for the new base comp. Now, add a select top to grab the render output. I have a screen grab simple network here for a shadow and levels. But you can use a screen grab to get the tracker input data. Now let's composite that with the main design. Perfect. The tracker is working correctly to animate each texture card. You might have to adjust the camera to frame the composition. Now, there is a small difference between Mac and PC users. Let me show you. Mac users can handle the same camera in the tracker and in the video input at the same time, so using a video device in is enough. For PC users, there are two options. You can use OBS and create a virtual camera and input that with the video device in, or you can use the screen grab top if you have two screens in your workspace. Perfect. See you on the next tutorial. I hope you've successfully completed this tutorial. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments.